Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and today we're going to get some insight into college sports communicators. My guest today is Erik Christianson. He is the Executive Director for College Sports Communicators. And welcome to the show.
Thanks, Anthony. It's great to be with you.
Yeah, so usually I start my guests where they went to college. So where'd you go to school?
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. I'm a Minnesota native originally, and started off at Normandale Community College. I'm a first-generation college student, and so started on that path. That was a great start. Transferred to what was then Northwestern College in St. Paul, which is a Division III institution. Played a little baseball there. Not very well. Started my career as a journalist. Went back to graduate school at the University of Illinois at its Springfield campus, and so that's the quick summary of my academic journey.
Oh, great. Well, let's just go back in time before we get started on what you're doing now. In high school, when did you start thinking about going to college? Was it freshman year, senior year? When did it all start for you?
I would say it was probably about halfway through my high school experience. I moved going into high school to another part of the Twin Cities, and went to a pretty academically rigorous high school, thankfully. And as I mentioned, neither of my parents had gone to college, but a lot of my classmates were going. And so some of the thinking was, well, I guess I should probably consider that as well. But I really didn't know kind of where to start. And of course, the resources and the planning opportunities were much more limited back in the day compared to now, and even with the resources that you're providing. And so really, leaned on friends and talked to some guidance counselors and others that I knew, and starting at a community college was a very cost affordable, good way to start thinking about college. And like many young people, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or wanted to study. And a really great piece of advice that I got back in the day from somebody was, well, what are you interested in? Like, what do you like, right? What are the things that that really kind of get you interested? And then was there a class or two in high school that might have pertained to some of that? And so I thought about all of those things, and I'd been interested in communications. I liked, my social studies and mass media classes, and I didn't write for like the student paper in high school or anything, but I was a student athlete, played 3 sports, and so armed with that knowledge, started to think about what the path could be for me.
Oh, fantastic. So now you get to college. Give us a little sense of what it's like when you first got there.
Yeah, it was still, as a first gen college student, that was all pretty fresh for me. And thankfully, community colleges do a really great job of intersecting with students that need a little assistance in that way. And I definitely did, just because I didn't have anybody that gone before me in that way. And so that was very helpful to start, and then just to continue to work on. One of the things I think is really great about college is that you learn how to learn. And that's probably one of the biggest takeaways is, yeah, you're going to study some things and it might help you prepare to get a job. But, the job that I'm in now, Anthony, wasn't even created when I was in college. The organization was around, but it was entirely volunteer run. And, this type of job, like many, didn't even exist then. And so, it's a good testament that if you do the work, learn how to learn, then that sets you up then, I think, to be successful.
So now, how does one go from graduating college to becoming the executive director for College Sports Communicators?
Yeah, that's it's like, one of those questions. I'm a Beatles fan, the long and winding road, right? I started my career as a journalist. I was a newspaper reporter and editor, and I really love that work. I'm a really curious person. I'm interested in a lot of things. I started as a sports writer in college, and then transitioned into kind of the news side, covered politics, did all of that, and really enjoyed that. but I wasn't sure that that was something I wanted to necessarily do for the rest of my life. And so I was considering the faculty route. So I went back to grad school, got a master's degree, and started working. And then through some acquaintances I knew through work and through church, had an opportunity to apply for a job working in state government, working for a governor, and pursued that and did that for a little while, and then realized that that was very interesting, and I appreciate it, but I didn't feel like it was necessarily my life's calling. So I had an opportunity to work in higher education and communications at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and that was a really great fit. That was a really great opportunity to really just marry up a lot of my passions in terms of communications, education, and how all of that, came into be. And that's when I started to really touch kind of the intersection of higher education and intercollegiate athletics. And so working in the main communications office at UW-Madison, I was a liaison to the athletics department on a lot of the non-competition, the non-game kinds of issues, academics and finance and facilities and NCAA infractions and some of those kinds of things. So I really started to learn, at a really deep level, those elements, and then was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to join the NCAA national office. I was director of public and media relations for about 8 years, was a managing director of communications for more than 10, and about 18 months ago left that role and was recruited into this role.
Wow. So now give us a sense of what College Sports Communicators is all about.
Yeah, we're the National Professional Development Association for everyone who works in communications and college sports in North America. We have a big footprint. We've been around for almost 70 years. For most of that time, we were the College Sports Information Directors of America, and that was a term, sports information, that was used for a long, long time to define that space of athletics communications. And as we all know, and even the way that we're communicating today, Anthony, via video, virtual video here, shows how much communications has changed. So it's not just sports information anymore, as important as that is, but it's all of the other elements of communications as well. It's media relations, it's strategic communications, it's branding, it's creative work, it's video, it's social, it's content generation, all designed to support student athletes, support campuses, and support college sports. So we rebranded about 18 months ago. I was part of that process when I was still working at the NCAA and was part of an advisory group, and then was recruited to be executive director, and was fortunate to be able to continue to work on this and kind of lead the rebrand of our organization. And what I've told a lot of people is that when you talk about branding, it's more than just a new name and a new logo. And we have a new name and a new logo, and I'm really proud of those. But what I'm most proud about is what those things mean then. What I really think then is brand is about the promise that you're making to your members, to your stakeholders, to your sponsors, to college sports. And that promise for us is that we are a forward-leaning organization that's supporting student athletes and all of college sports through communications.
So now everyone that works at a university or a college, they come through you if they want to get into college information, college sports of some sort.
That's right. We have a growing membership. In fact, we just set a new record in terms of members. We have more than 4,200 members now across the United States and Canada, working in all levels of college sports, all three divisions of the NCAA, the NAIA, two-year institutions, and we have a growing contingent of Canadian members as well. And so how it works, Anthony, is that the University of Wisconsin would buy that membership and then can bring in those traditional communicators, those ones working in the creative content space as well. And we're seeing growth even with institutions adding, staffers who have primary responsibility for brand and for marketing, and all of the ways that communications is integrated now within a college athletics department and a campus, just like any corporation as well. So we've seen that great growth. We were about 3,200 members in our last full year right before COVID. Now we're up to more than 4,200 members. And
Wow.
what I'm really gratified about is just how much our members really appreciate our organization. They really look to us as that community, right? To learn, to grow, to build their network, to make new friends. We run a very popular national convention every summer. We'll have anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people at that event. It's part of a larger convention run by a group called NACDA, which is the Athletics Directors Association for College Sports. So we're the largest group there, other than NACDA itself. And then we're a 24/7, 365 organization as well. We're providing annual webinars, lots of programming, lots of resources on our website. And then, of course, we own and operate the Academic All-America program as well.
Wow. So that's what I was just going to get into next was the All-American academic program. And also you have something called the Hall of Fame program.
That's correct. Our Academic All-America program, we're really proud of our program. It's the second oldest awards program within college sports. Only the Heisman Trophy is older than our program. So every year we are honoring thousands of student athletes who are the best and brightest as students and as athletes. And where that's really going to be on display here in the next couple of days, Anthony, is that both starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl this Sunday, Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, are academic All-Americans. And so it's only the second time that's ever happened. The last time it did, Drew Brees squared off against Peyton Manning in 2010 in the Super Bowl, the Saints and the Colts. And so we're really proud of the fact that the Academic All-America program will be on full display during Super Bowl Sunday, but it's on full display all year, actually. It's a year-round program. We're honoring the best and brightest male and female athletes in all of the major sports at all levels of college sports. And we've been doing that since the 1950s, and we're very proud of the program. And then we have also our Hall of Fame program, where we then honor kind of the best of the best, and we're working on identifying our new class for this year as well. We've had some of the highest profile individuals. Peyton Manning is part of that group. Kevin Warren, who's now the president of the Chicago Bears. We've had astronauts, we've had CEOs, we've had Nobel Prize winners,
Wow.
really, really the best of the best. And what that really underscores, Anthony, is that, being a student athlete and being good at both your work in the classroom and on the field, those things are not mutually exclusive. Unfortunately, I think there is a bit of a perception in that regard, and it's just not true. And we have the great opportunity to help shine a light on that and to celebrate that. And so Super Bowl Sunday is just the latest opportunity for us to really shine that light on excellence on and off the field.
Now, you talked about your convention. What happens at the convention? What do you actually do at your convention?
Yeah, we do really three primary things. One is that we educate our members. We have programming across the board. Some of that might be in what I would call kind of tactical elements about how to use the latest software to do your work, or those kinds of things. We focus a lot on leadership. How can you be a leader in your athletics department and provide solutions through communications to support college sports? And then networking is also a big part of that. And so it's opportunities for people to connect and realize that they're not out there on their own, that there is this huge, enormous 4,200 plus community of people that are all moving in the same direction. Your job might be a little different now, and that's all changed. It was very similar for a long, long time. It's very different now, but we're all doing the same thing, right? We're supporting students in their athletics endeavor within higher education. That's what we do. And then finally, what we're really proud of as well is that we recognize, right? We recognize good work. We have a number of awards related to our members, either those that have been in the field for a long time and have distinguished themselves, those up and comers that we identify as well. Our Academic Hall of Fame, we honor at our convention. We run the Dick Enberg Award as well. Dick was a longtime friend of college sports communicators. Fortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but he was fortunate enough to lend his name to one of our signature awards there as well. So that's another piece for us of which we're really proud, where we get to really honor and shine a spotlight on those who generally, most of the time, are shining a spotlight on somebody else.
So now, if members want to join the college sports communicators, where do they go? How do they find you? Does the university just tell them about you?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do that. One is to jump on our website, collegesportscommunicators.com. There's an easy way to do that. If a school is not a member, we certainly encourage them to do that. Individuals can also purchase members, but really the best play is for an institution to grab that membership, and then they can bring in as many members as they want. And one of the examples that I've given is that a major Division I school playing at the highest levels had 6 or 7 members before we kind of changed that process. Now with the membership model focused on the institutions, they have 26 members.
Oh,
And so it's a really great opportunity. If someone's on a campus and their school isn't a member, we certainly encourage them to buy that school membership. If not, we have individual memberships there as well. And they're not limited to people who work in college sports either. We also have an advocate membership for people that want to be a part of our organization. What's really interesting about that, Anthony, is that we've had a growing number of people come to us who work in and around sports in some way, whether it's professional sports or high school sports. And they say, listen, there's no other organization like College Sports Communicators. Can we be a part of your organization and glean that professional development, help build that network? We can't find any other place like you all. And we say, absolutely. We also have an advocate membership as well for those individuals.
wow, fantastic. Well, we're coming to the end of our show, and usually I ask my guests, what advice do you want to give to the students and the parents that are watching this that want to go on to college? What advice do you want to give them?
Yeah, that's a great question and really important. I have a focus group, here even at home. I have one son who's a college graduate. I have one who's in college. I have one who's finishing up high school. And so, really thinking about, first of all, what's the best fit for you? I think sometimes there's a notion that unless you go to an elite institution, that it's not going to be worth it. And I think we know that that's not true. The vast majority of college students in America are educated at public regional universities and at smaller colleges and universities. And so really, first of all, figure out what that best fit is, and then don't stress too much about what you're going to do the rest of your life. I mean, I think about how many different jobs that I've had. Many of them I didn't even contemplate and weren't even around, when I was in college. So it's really focusing on how do you maximize your experience in college, wherever you're attending, whether it's at that community college, which I think is a great place to start. And one of my sons is at a community college right now, and he's having a great experience there. I have another son who went to a very large, prominent university and had a great experience. I have another one in high school who's a student athlete and wants to play his sport in college, and will likely have that opportunity. And so what's that right fit there as well? Don't stress too much about what you're gonna do the rest of your life. It's like my dad told me a long, long time ago, you got your whole life to work, and that's true. Instead, I think the much better approach is to really think about, how do I find an environment that's the right fit for me? And then how can I pursue that lifelong goal of learning how to learn? That doesn't end with a 2-year, 4-year degree or even graduate school or anything like that. If you have a perspective of being a lifelong learner, then that really, I think, is the pathway to success.
Yep, I agree. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Really appreciate the time. Good to visit with you.
Yeah, so you've been watching The Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva. Until next time.